Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Andrew Yang and the power of names. So I think Andrew Yang very, very carefully and very wisely acknowledges the power of names in politics, in our culture, and in our society. And so today I want to talk about 3 sentences that he said in the CNN town hall recently. So that Andrew Yang said in that CNN town hall very recently. So basically, Andrew Yang did a absolutely fantastic job on the CNN town hall. He really knocked it out of the park. A lot of what he said was repeat, and almost none of it was new for me because I've been following him, right? So he's just repeating the same thing he said before. Now, he absolutely needs to do that because he needs to blanket this nation with his message. He needs to make it so that, excuse me, the vast majority of people understand what he stands for, what his policies are, what UBI is, all that. So he crushed it. He did a really, really fantastic job. But I'll give you the 3 words that we're going to talk about, the 3 sentences that we're going to talk about today. He said, in the middle, he said, my team and I have been talking about what name Donald Trump will give to me when I'm his opponent. And we think we've come up with it, and it's going to be Comrade Yang. Right? So just 3 simple sentences, but in those 3 simple sentences, there's just a volume of meaning, right? And discernment. And there's magnitude behind this statement, right? So just think about what Yang is actually saying here, right? So one, he's saying to everyone, right? He's saying it to CNN. He's saying it to the 14 other Democrat opponents. He's saying it to America. I will be the opponent of Donald Trump. I'm going to the general. I'm about to beat every single one of you Democrats in this primary election race, right? Totally agree. I think he's on his way. I definitely think he's going to be the candidate. I think he will go to the general election against Donald Trump. All right. So, excuse me. So basically, you have that statement there, right? But you also have him saying to the world, I see. He's saying to he's also speaking to Donald Trump. He's saying to Donald Trump, I see you coming. I know what you do. You are a name caller. You use the bullying tactic of name calling. I see you coming, and I'm going to defuse you, right? And so he's saying, hey, I'm already thinking about what you're going to do when we're in that street brawl called the general election, right? And figuratively, it's going to be blow for blow, strike for strike. It is going to be teeth on the floor. Like it's going to be ugly, bad, right? And we know this because of how Donald Trump fought Hillary Clinton. It was an absolute figurative street brawl, right? It was no holds barred, nonstop. Just tearing the other opponent down as much as you could in reputation, and it's no holds barred street brawl type political fighting, right? Okay, all right. So and this is Andrew Yang going, I have no illusions. I see what's coming, and I'm getting ready. And I know one of your biggest tactics is a bully tactic, is name calling, and I'm going to start to take the names that you would call me, and I'm going to state them now, not calling myself that, I'm going to state them now so that when you use them, I could say, oh, well, you need to come up with something better than I already came up with. Or that he could say, you need to come up with something clever. Or he could say, oh, you're just copying me, right? So every time Yang does this, where he gives one of these terrible bully tactic names, where he lists it out, right? He's diffusing what Donald Trump can do, right? And it's absolutely brilliant. And the reason why is this is one of Donald Trump's most effective tactics. It's a bully tactic, and he uses it incredibly effectively, right? I was stunned. I saw on the news the other day that somebody reported that Trump had called Bernie crazy, and I was like, no, that's not true. I went right over to Donald Trump's tweet, his Twitter account, real Donald Trump, the president, And right there, he said, oh, I'm looking forward to the general, and I can't wait to go against crazy Bernie Sanders and sleepy Joe Biden. And I was like, holy cows. Like, it was incredible to see this. So here's the issue, right? Donald Trump is no longer a politician. He's no longer an American citizen only, right? He's no longer a business person and no longer just simply an American citizen. He is the president of the United States. He's an American politician, right? Now, the work of an American politician is to build up our civilization. We have carefully constructed civility in our politics, in our culture, and in our society, right? Now, the natural aspect of people overall is that we have to struggle to be civilized, right? And the reality is there are many, many people in our country who are going to take the enjoyment and the fun of decivilizing us, right? And we understand that because we understand the nature of humanity is really, it's easier to destroy than it is to create. That's just a fact. It's a fact of our world, right? And far more people are willing to destroy something than to take the time to create it, because creating takes planning, it takes blood, sweat, and tears, and destroying is just fun and easy, and you can do it anytime you want, right, with very little resources, where creation is the exact opposite. It takes planning, it takes resources, it takes effort, right? And so my issue is Donald Trump is now an American politician. He is the U.S. president. His job is to preserve our civilization, to preserve the civility we have built into our politics, our culture, and our society, right? He should be the number one person who is preserving our civility and raising the level of discourse. And instead, he is acting like a junior high bully, using junior high bully tactics of name calling. It is upsetting to see this. It truly, truly is. And so, I have wonderful hope in my heart seeing a candidate who understands the value of civilization and understands that as an American politician, his job will be to raise the level of discourse, not push down the level of discourse, right? And it is shocking to me as an American to think that I would ever need to worry about the careful, planned, executed, small destruction of our civility by our own president, right? It's just saying bully tactics of name calling are now part of our politics, part of our culture, part of our society, with the president saying this, displaying it like routinely, is shocking. It is incredibly shocking. So here we see this situation with Andrew Yang saying, no. He's saying to Donald Trump, I see you coming. I see you coming. I'm going to defuse you, right? And I have incredible hope for Andrew Yang. I also have incredible sympathy for him, because fighting this type of person, this person who's going to do the easy, fun, effortless activity of destruction of civilization, of civility, right? Saying, I get to destroy, to push myself forward, I will use the work and momentum of people who built civility in this country. And I'm going to use it as fuel. I'm going to use the burning of that civility as fuel to propel myself forward, right? It is stunning. And Andrew Yang has to do two things. He has to defeat Donald Trump, and he has to not become Donald Trump. It is going to be incredibly hard, incredibly hard. I do believe he can do it. I believe Andrew Yang can do it. But I just have so much sympathy for the task that lays in front of him. It is going to be incredibly hard. What else is he stating just by saying, I think he's going to call me Comrade Yang? Well, that's a huge statement, right? It is a charge that Donald Trump will be racially insensitive to him, right? Like saying comrade would indicate Chinese, right? It'd be essentially a racial slur, right? I think there, you could understand comrade as, if not a direct, but as an indirect racial slur, right? Now, the reality is, you know, any president should be above this. They should be able to say, hey, I've been racially sensitive at all times. That's just not the case with Donald Trump. He can't, you know, like, he's not there, right? He's just not there, right? So again, Andrew Yang is saying, I see where you're going to hit, right? And then also, he's saying, Comrade Yang, not only is he pointing at not only would Donald Trump be pointing at, if he were to say this, which is, in my opinion, is completely, there's evidence from 2 days ago on Donald Trump's Twitter that he will absolutely use name calling to devalue and deconstruct an opponent, right? It's already happening, right? Like, this isn't an accusation. He's literally doing it right now on his own Twitter feed, right? He is using the bullying tactic of name calling right overtly. This isn't subtle, it's overt, right? On his Twitter feed, you could see it right now, right? Just scroll back just a few tweets and you'll see him. Crazy Bernie Sanders, sleepy Joe Biden. And it's incredibly stunning. Like, the idea that anyone in today's modern society would look at another statesperson and attach the word crazy to them, it makes you wonder, you know, what happened? You know, where's George Washington? Where's Thomas Jefferson? Where is Abraham Lincoln? These people who desperately protected civility, right? And tried to raise the level of discourse, right? It's just shocking, right? So he's saying, you're going to come at me because I'm Chinese, and then you're going to come at me trying to claim I'm a socialist, right? And so he's diffusing this bomb that Donald Trump is carefully constructing to use this bomb that Donald Trump is constructing to use later, right? And he's saying, I know you're going to do all these different names. So if I list the names that you would possibly call me, then I've diffused your ability to use this against me later. It's a powerful, powerful tactic, right? And I'm really excited that Andrew Yang is using it. Now, when I saw this on CNN, Andrew Yang say this, I got really excited, and the reason why is I'm a big reader, and I fully understand the power of names, and it was exciting to see a candidate who understands that as well. So 2 books really have very much brought forward the power of names to me. The first one is, I'm an evangelical Christian. I've read the Bible 11 times cover to cover. I've read it 5 times with my own very eyeballs. And then I have listened to it 6 times as an audiobook. And when I go through the Bible, I attempt to make sure I'm reading every section and not like rereading New Testament. Try to go through the Old Testament and New Testament at an even pace, right? And first thing in the Bible, right there in Genesis, Adam names the animals, and it's a power move, right? And that's the issue. Like, we have to recognize what Donald Trump is doing. By giving a name, by giving a nickname to someone else, he is saying, I am taking the right of your parent. I am naming you, right? I don't have the right to do that. No one has the right to name you except your parents, right? And I, as a statesperson, I should give you the respect to use your full and proper name. But I'm not going to do that. I'm right now declaring my disrespect for you, right? And I'm declaring my power over you by naming you, right? Now, when Adam named all the animals, there was no disrespect there. He was giving them proper names, and then he was intending to use those proper names, right? And this idea of giving a nickname, like, Donald Trump just does not have a right to give anyone a nickname. He's taking the rights of a parent, and he's taking the rights of a romantic partner. That's the only other person who's ever allowed to give someone a nickname, right? And he's neither to these people. He's a statesperson. He owes them respect. But he's saying, I'm going to assert my own power. I'm going to assert my own selfishness. I'm going to assert my own rights here. It is incredibly important to understand what Donald Trump is doing when he gives nicknames. He's asserting power, right? And he's taking privileges and rights he does not have. He's taking the rights and privileges of parents and romantic partners, of which he is none to the people he is nicknaming, to the people he is name calling, right? He doesn't have those rights. He never did, right? And he never will. But he's displaying his selfishness. He's exerting power where he doesn't have the right to do so. And Andrew Yang sees him coming, right? That's the important thing for us to recognize, is that Andrew Yang has seen the most dangerous part of his opponent and is maneuvering now to handle that opponent. And that's what gives us hope. Because I will say, when I saw, Donald Trump's tweet saying, crazy Bernie Sanders, sleepy Joe Biden, there was a moment of hopelessness. I'm like, what world are we living in where the person who should be the best of us is displaying that he's light years away from being the best of us? It's just, it's bad. It's really, really bad situation, right? So it's really important understanding Adam named the animals. He had power over the animals. It was declaration of power over the animals, right? And and it was showing a level of hierarchy, right? And that's just it. Donald Trump doesn't have any hierarchy over his opponents. They're both state people, right? He doesn't have the ability or the privilege to name anyone, and he absolutely needs to stop it. And we as Americans need, every time we see name calling in his activity, we need to we need to call it out and say, this is not acceptable. You're taking rights and privileges you don't have. You're not a parent or a romantic partner to that person. You have absolutely no right to nickname them, right? Don't take rights you don't have, right? It's too much. It's too much. As a society, we really need to be very aware of this and careful that we are not accepting this from our leaders, right? All right. So with that said, right, the other book that I really, really enjoyed quite a bit was the Bartimaeus trilogy, which is very opposite of the book I mentioned last. So the Bartimaeus trilogy is a fiction book, right? And I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and this book was similar to Harry Potter in that it was actually a culture of wizards in Victorian society, and it was not secret. They were public, right? So the wizards are public, and it's the story of this young man. He's like about a junior high age kid. His name is Nathaniel, and he's a young wizard who summons and binds demons, right? And the way he does this is by knowing their true name, and with their true name and using these rituals, he can summon and bind them to his service, right? And then somewhere in the book, Bartimaeus, the demon that he summons and binds, who served Ptolemy earlier, right? Basically, what he does is Bartimaeus, the demon, finds out Nathaniel's true name and then flips the table and binds Nathaniel. And Nathaniel is only able to get his independence again later when he is renamed John Mandrake, right? And this book is saying that if you have someone's true name, you can have power over them. And that's my entire point of this entire video, is the power of names is, the magnitude is high. The power of names is extreme, right? And each one of us need to be incredibly careful to use people's full names, not nicknames. We have absolutely no right to give anyone a nickname. That is the rights of a parent or a romantic partner. And if you're not a romantic partner or a parent to someone, you have absolutely no right to change their name in any way. None. And I think we really need to do a hard stop reject on this as a culture, right? We cannot follow the example that our leader is setting. And I am incredibly excited. Andrew Yang sees Donald Trump coming, and he is maneuvering now to defeat him. And I'm very, very excited about that. I like that Andrew Yang is thinking now about the general, even as he's doing what he can to win the primary. That's what I think. I'd love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.